Walking home at night, usually after a few pints at the pub, when you're not exactly thinking rationally, can often leave you hearing or seeing things that don't exist. You start freaking yourself out over a twig moving 300 meters away or some random cat, and try to work out if it's got to the point where you should probably break into a speedy run. So in this video, we are going to tell you about true scary stories, the Smiling Man. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. Before starting the video, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to never miss out on any of our videos. In April of 2012, Ellis Riley was having nightmares. He'd always been a night person, staying up well after his roommate had fallen asleep, but now he had even more of a reason to stay out of bed. Riley had once heard someone say that fresh air was the best way to chase the demons away, so he'd started taking night walks to avoid the terrors in his sleep. But Riley was about to learn a hard lesson. The worst nightmares are the ones that come for you when you're wide awake. Riley had a habit of taking nighttime walks. He lived downtown in a major U.S. city, and he'd been taking his nocturnal strolls around town for 4 years without any kind of incident. He'd once joked to a friend of his that in this city, even the drug dealers were polite. Maybe that's why he let his guard down on the one night he needed it most. It was Wednesday, a little after 1 o'clock a.m., and Riley was walking further away from his apartment than he usually would. He was at a police-patrolled park, normally as safe as your backyard. He noticed that the whole town seemed unusually dead tonight. He hadn't seen anyone during the entire duration of his walk. But as he rounded the corner into a small, dark side street, that was about to change. In the distance, he saw the silhouette of a tall, lanky man dancing. It was a kind of odd, loping waltz, somewhere between a dance and a walk. There was something off about the man. Something uncanny. Riley shooed away the irrational fears and figured the guy had probably just had a few too many drinks at a local bar. He walked out onto the road to give the stranger more space on the sidewalk, but as the two got closer, Riley realized he'd made a mistake. There is nothing more terrifying than being a child alone in an empty house, with a monster lurking around. The man was moving a little too gracefully to be a drunk. He was dressed in an old suit, his face craned up, looking at the night sky. Riley noticed his eyes were practically bugging out of his head, and most notably, he was wearing a wide, toothy smile. The kind of smile that looks almost like it hurts. With a creepy cartoon grin, Riley crossed the street to give the smiling man a wide berth. But the man stopped, perfectly parallel with him across the street. He was looking in Riley's direction, still facing skywards. Riley kept moving, wanting to put as much distance between them as possible. A block later, he looked over his shoulder and saw the smiling man crouched in the shadows a few feet behind him, still grinning, baring his teeth like a predator. Riley was frozen as the smiling man rose to his feet and began waltzing towards him, faster than any person should be able to. He was in grabbing distance when the smiling man stopped in front of him. Terrified, Riley choked out a desperate noise. He wanted to sound intimidating, instead, he sounded terrified. But Riley got lucky. The smiling man turned tail and began waltzing off in the other direction. Riley got moving again. He was closer to his apartment. He just needed to get inside, and then he'd be safe. But that's when he heard the footsteps behind him, pounding at the asphalt. He turned and saw the smiling man sprinting towards him like a maniac, eyes bulging, a smile still freakishly wide. Lucky for Riley, perhaps because of fear and adrenaline, he could run faster. He sprinted until his legs burned, and he was finally able to lose the smiling man. He returned to his apartment that night, traumatized but alive. He lived in that city for 6 months after that, but he never took a nighttime walk again. The nightmares in his head had nothing on the nightmare he encountered on the streets that one night. Riley knew from something in the man's face that he wasn't drunk and he wasn't high. He was truly dangerously insane, and really had been lucky to escape with his life. Riley posted this story on Reddit, a place for people to post real frightening encounters they'd had with strange people across the globe. It seemed like a freaky, isolated incident, but as it turns out, Ellis Riley was only one of many people who'd had terrifying encounters with the smiling man. He was just the person to finally give it a name. In fact, so many people out there had had their own experience with this terrifying grinning phantom. They started the Smiling Man subreddit to share their experiences. Let us know your opinion in the comments section below. This was all for today. Hope you liked the video. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stay safe, and we'll be back soon with another video.